Immediately Trump. Not even 3 seconds in. Already looking at him. No. Okay, we're back to something that is even more awful. How about that? Okay. Oi, oi. Ay. I'm just gonna wait for people to join in. Which map should we be staring at while we're waiting for someone else to join? We can look at this map. We can look at this map. Yeah, I think we're just gonna stick with this one. The one that we're gonna discuss in detail today. Hi Deb, good to see you. How are you? Welcome. Hello everybody, good to see you. Hi Loris. Hello. I'm doing fine. How are you? Welcome. Hello from Alaska. Some exciting things are about to happen in Alaska, huh? Oh boy, are we excited about that, huh? Hello Karen and hi Chelsea, good to see you all. How are you doing? I know. So many layers to this one. Everyone is in anticipation, right? Anticipation is in the air. Hi Vicky. Everyone is expecting for something to happen, something to go down in Alaska. What do we think is gonna happen? Do we think anything's gonna happen? I bet it doesn't happen, right? This is one of the opinions that I think, hi Anne, thank you. I think many people share that it might not even happen. And then there are also people who think that it will happen, but nothing good will come out of it. So, I know. We're going to discuss this. This is the majority of the news. So, this is, I think, the main topic of the day. Wait, what is this? What are you trying to tell me? TikTok keeps trying to tell me something, and I don't understand anything that's happening. They came up with some badges, and then they came up with some... What is this? I don't understand any of it. I feel so old. Hello Val, good to see you. Good to see you everybody. Good to see you all. Hi Tim. Sorry for missing the last live, by the way. I know some people were wondering what happened. It just happens sometimes. Things happen. You have to be in the right headspace to do these, because otherwise it just turns into a nightmare scenario. Hi Renee, hi Zoe. Good to see you. So yeah, to those of you who are already on YouTube, so you're looking at one of our main topics for today actually. We're gonna get into this one after we discuss the upcoming Alaska situation. But yeah, to those of you who are not on YouTube, I recommend you jump in, because we will be looking at the maps a lot today. We had a breakthrough in the front lines. So if you compare to what the situation was like about a week ago, 10 days ago, and then a couple days ago, and then today, you might see this thing that has happened and has broken all of our hearts. Hi Bram, thank you. So yeah, we will get to that. But we also have to, unfortunately, we have to discuss Alaska first. There's something's gonna happen. Thank you. Yeah, right. So this is, I think, what everyone has been wondering. So we're a couple days away from this upcoming meeting between Trump and Putin in Alaska, and this is what everyone is currently talking about. What is going to happen? Are they going to meet after all? Right. First and foremost, will there be a meeting? Because the meeting is currently announced. Everyone's talking that there's going to be a meeting. They're going to meet. They're going to discuss things. That apparently it's going to be at a military base, which is a whole new level of concerning. Letting someone like that, just basically letting a bunch of FSB agents to snoop around the US military base. All right, sure, why not? I guess that's the world we find ourselves in. So there's still a possibility of something going wrong at the very last minute, and someone backing off or whatever. But even if they don't, even if they do end up meeting Putin and Trump, how high are the chances of something productive actually coming out of the situation? So, for instance, from 37 minutes ago, we have Trump threatening. What else is new? Threatening very severe consequences if Putin doesn't agree to stop the war. So, when asked during his news conference whether Russia will face any consequences if Putin doesn't agree to stop the war in Ukraine after their meeting in Alaska, the US president replies, yes, they will. There will be consequences. Do. How many times have we heard that, by the way? How many times have we heard? We have heard the promise of consequences so many times over the last several months. Asked if that would be sanctions or tariffs, our favorite word, tariffs, Trump says, I don't have to say. Okay, slay queen. There will be very severe consequences. He's then asked if he believes he can convince Putin to stop targeting civilians in Ukraine, and he says he does not. Saying he has asked previously, but it has not happened. Hi, Maddie. Good to see you. Yeah, so we have, for now, a big ball of nothing. We also had some statements from the European officials. For instance, German Chancellor Merz was very optimistic about the conversation between Zelensky and Trump, because everybody keeps talking, right? This is something that you have to keep in mind. Everyone keeps talking to each other. It's all blah, 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 blah. Okay, so they're feeling optimistic. At the same time, Europe is clearly sidelined from the entire situation, despite the fact that, yeah, they had the talk. So Trump, Zelensky, and NATO nations held the virtual meeting ahead of the summit to pretend like Europe is not actually being sidelined. But it kind of is, though, right? Oh, thank you so much, Bram, for the subscription. Yay, appreciate it. 15 out of 20. Let's go. I want us to hit the goal so that we could do a subscribers-only stream one of those days. This would be incredible. So thank you so much. Thank you, and thank you, Joe. Thank you, everyone. I see you. I see you all. You're wonderful. I see you guys. I talk about horrible things, but I appreciate you all. So what was I saying? We were talking about how the Europeans are kind of sidelined. So they did talk. They did talk to Trump. Apparently they made the position clear. Zelensky talked to Trump. Everyone talks to Trump. And what's interesting here is that before that there was a warning coming from the UK towards the European leaders. So Britain issues warning, this is the Telegraph reporting, to Merz and Macron over Ukraine. Officials tell EU leaders that public demands could annoy Donald Trump. So this was very interesting. Basically you have the United Kingdom warning the European partners and allies to be careful with their rhetoric, because Trump might get annoyed and then God knows what's gonna happen, which British officials have urged EU leaders to stop an unhelpful running commentary on looming Ukraine peace talks. So that you would understand, this unhelpful running commentary in questions was some comments regarding like Ukrainian sovereignty, and that Ukraine is supposed to have a say in Ukrainian future, and that the Europeans are also not to be sidelined, that they also have to have presence. So a lot of very healthy, very adequate things that were said. Thank you. Thank you so much. Unhelpful running commentary, it was called. All right. Officials are increasingly concerned about public comments on the future of Ukraine by figures including Emmanuel Macron, Friedrich Merz, and Kaja Kallas, so the EU's top diplomat, the French president, the German chancellor, and the top diplomat. They fear that issuing public demands to the US president may backfire. So basically they have to treat him like a toddler. And cause him to cut Europe out of talks altogether. How insulting is that, by the way? Just the entire notion that, oh, he's just gonna cut Europe out. Europe is such an important presence in this entire conversation, in terms of everything. In terms of aid, military aid, financial aid, any kind of aid. And, alright, yeah, he can just cut them out, I guess, if he has a little tantrum. It comes as Mr. Trump and his Russian counterpart, thank you, Maddie, prepared to discuss a ceasefire in Ukraine at one. Okay, yeah, we already know that. Thank you so much. Anyway, so yeah, the UK is worried. Insiders in the UK have pointed to the fact that Starmer has made no public comments on the discussions since the joint statement. What a good boy. Such a good boy. Choosing instead to influence from behind the scenes, whatever that means. That means nothing. The Prime Minister's official spokesman did not explicitly call for Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, to be present for the talks. Because, yeah, who cares about that? Who cares about that guy? He's just the Ukrainian president. During a briefing with journalists, despite EU figures publicly making their request. So, are you seeing this? Are you seeing this? Just a lot of dancing, a lot of swaying around, trying to make sure that Trump is calm, and I guess so is Putin. Oh, God. The British source said, unlike our European colleagues, we're not publicly out there making demands of the Americans. Good for you. Good for you. You're on your best behavior, huh? A lot of the way the Europeans seem to be behaving, they are going to annoy the Americans. They're going to annoy Trump if they start making demands and if they put out red lines. How dare you? How dare you talk about the Ukrainian sovereignty, friends? Oh, everybody. Finnish president said that Trump was not very optimistic that there will be any actual results from the Trump-Putin meeting. Yeah, so everyone is basically setting the stage for any possible outcome, right? If anything happens, they will be able to just roll back and say, remember that one time? We weren't actually expecting anything to happen. We were actually very much prepared for nothing to happen at all. At the same time, there's also a lot of the conversations about, maybe there's going to be a ceasefire. We're very optimistic about a possible ceasefire, but also we're not expecting much. But also maybe there's going to be a ceasefire and maybe there's going to be the freezing of the war, but maybe not. Yeah, this is something that they do. It's one of the annoying things that they do so that we wouldn't be able to tell, you lied to us, right? If he were to say, actually, yeah, definitely, 100% there's going to be a result. And then there is no result. And then we're all like, did you just lie to us again? Yeah. As if he cares, though, right? Do you think your fellow Ukrainians would give up nearly 20% of their homeland for a lasting peace? The question here, Scott, is what do we mean by lasting peace? For now, no one really understands what does this entail because, again, because of this wobbly rhetoric that everyone is putting out, but no one really seems to be able to give anything concrete, right? So what is the situation? What does it entail? What are the guarantees that are going to be given to Ukraine? What are the demands that are going to be put on Russia? We're not hearing anything. All we're hearing is a bunch of speculations. All we're hearing is a bunch of suggestions. And yeah, everyone's just dancing around the topic. And even the possibilities of easing of the sanctions, right? So apparently there is now the possibility that the Europeans are discussing of easing the sanctions on the Russia if there is a ceasefire. So with that, how lasting of a peace are we actually talking? We're not talking lasting peace at all. We're talking just, some time to give Russians possibility to prepare and then come back and, I guess, kill all of us this time because now they will be better prepared and with the sanctions lifted they will have the opportunity to rebuild and restore and multiply their military capabilities. So I think this is what a lot of people are worried about. Like genuinely, if we talk Highlander, good to see you. If we talk about, what do the people think? What do the people fear? What do the people have in mind when discussing the possibility of peace? That we're going to be taken for a ride once again, that it's going to be a Budapest Memorandum 3.0, or that it's going to be Minsk 3, or that it's going to be, something that we have already seen in the past, basically. Sorry, TikTok. Hi, Josh. Good to see you. Good to see you. Let me just scroll a little back and see if I have missed anything. That's very sweet. Thank you. It's concerning in the news to hear Russia's moving eastward in Ukraine. Yeah, we're going to discuss that. We're going to... First, we have to do the Alaska situation and everything, and then we will discuss that. There was a breakthrough in the east, everybody, unfortunately. To those of you who have been following me in my coverage, I don't think this is going to come as a huge surprise. We have talked about that. I think, how many times have I repeated in the last months, especially on Patreon in my monthly Ukraine updates videos, that the front is crumbling. The front is crumbling. We haven't seen the collapse yet in any of the parts of the front, but it's not necessarily a good thing. We're going to see, unfortunately, Some not so good things happening if the situation continues, along the line. So anyway, thank you. It's very kind of you. Yeah, unfortunately, all we have to do is mock the guy, because otherwise you can just lose your mind. Thank you, Truthful. The Nobel Peace Prize. Oh, don't even get me started on it. He's not getting a Nobel Peace Prize. Can we please make this one clear? I know he has this little thing with Nobel Peace Prize. He believes that he is gonna solve all the wars, I guess. Oh, well, maybe. Honestly, by this point in time, knowing how all of these organizations operating, how corrupt so many of them are, all of these... I'm not sure about the Nobel Prize Committee, but we have learned so much about all of these different international organizations. I wouldn't even be surprised if they did. If they were like, yeah, let's do it, just... Why not? Oh, Jesus. Okay, let me see. Almost, very close. The fake Nobel Peace. The fake gold. Yes, from Timu. Carpathian, 1955. Ukrainians are dying for bankers in the West. They fear BRICS. Give them the eastern province. Who fears BRICS? Українці бояться BRICS? I'm sorry, what? Or do you mean the bankers fear the... I don't think anyone fears BRICS. I'm very sorry to tell you this. In order for BRICS to become actually feared, and BRICS has a lot of potential, don't get me wrong, there has to be infighting within the BRICS. The constant mean girls situation inside of the BRICS has to happen, so that anyone would take them seriously for once. Because the amount of infighting within that little block, that's not cool. Again, you have Regina George, which is China. You have, I don't know, India is probably Katie. Give them the eastern province. Okay, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Whenever this argument arises of, Ukrainians dying for the bankers in the West or whatever, it's always interesting to just follow this logic, because how deep of an influence then the bankers of the West have over Russia? Are they the, silent puppeteers behind the scenes? Did they force Putin to invade? Is this how it went? Was this the secret plan? The best NATO agent, Vladimir Putin. Oh well. Trump is insufferable, says Dave. Unfortunately, he is. Yeah, he is extremely insufferable. But I don't know what to tell you guys. We have to work with what we were given. Were we kind of surprised? I guess some of us were. Well, we were disappointed. Surprised though, it was like, okay, yeah, of course they did that, sure. Thank you, Josh. Hello everyone. Good to see you. Yeah, so all of the possible scenarios for the so-called Alaska peace, whatever, they're talking, if it happens, right? So if it happens, if they meet up and if they agree on something, what could we possibly see happening? We could see a ceasefire happening. We could see the freezing of the front lines. We could see America recognizing some of the occupied territories of Ukraine as Russian. Thank you, Mr. M. So, along those lines. What I'm very interested in, though, is what is Russia going to be given in return if this were to happen, if this were to go down? Which sanctions are going to be lifted? How much of the trade is going to resume? So this is the type of thing that really interests me, because based on that, we can start planning for the next war accordingly. Depending on how many sanctions will be lifted and how soon will the trade resume, and all of that, we'll be like, okay, we have a year till they attack us again. Or we have several years till they attack us again. Or we have a couple of years till they attack the Baltics, So a lot of possibilities. By the way, while we're on the topic of that, the Russian propagandists already started to switch rhetoric, and they already started attacking the Baltics. So now confident that they will be rewarded for 11 years of atrocities in Ukraine, Putin regime begins preparing its population for the invasion of Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. So this is one of the Russian top propagandists, Vladimir Solovyov, in his little show. But someone's still watching.
Они геополитическое недоразумение. За них НАТО не встанет.
Не впряжутся. Не впряжутся. Помните скандал? Кая Каллас, будучи премьером, проболталась, оказывается, 180 дней надо НАТО на принятие решения. Задействовать 5-й параграф Вашингтонского договора или не задействовать?
5-я статья Вашингтонского договора не подразумевает вступление в войну.
Незамедлительное вступление в войну.
Конечно. То есть совсем. Просто надо внимательно ее читать. Кто захочет сгореть в ядерном Армагеддоне за Прибалтику?
Do you recognize this argument, everybody? Do you recognize this? Who would want to burn in a nuclear Armageddon over the Baltics, says Russian top propagandist Solovyov. I've seen this film before. I've heard that before. Only it wasn't really about the Baltics, was it? It was the argument they kept using about Ukraine. So yeah, here he's basically saying, so all of the weaknesses that we have discussed before, he is bringing up all of this divisive rhetoric about how, you know, the NATO Article 5 shouldn't necessarily be activated for someone who is as insignificant and, as they call them, geopolitical mistakes. They really hate the Baltics. They really hate Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. Like, who needs to fight for them? Who needs to die for them? So it's interesting how they haven't even signed anything here, and they're already testing the ground. They're already prepping for something else. They're prepping for something potentially happening in that direction, which is, I know. Then I think, Tim, I'm afraid then Trump would do something bad to him. I don't think he would have made it out of the office on that occasion. Remember the what was that? How did we call it? The ambush, the White House ambush. Okay, let's see. So yeah, this is something that is important to keep in mind. Whenever we're discussing any sort of possibility, any sort of peace deal, the question that arises immediately, what are they going to get in return? Because based on that, we can plan accordingly. We can be like, okay, this is how much time we have till the next war. Wonderful. Institute for the Study of War points out that the Kremlin is attempting to use the upcoming Alaska summit to divide the United States from Europe. Oh, again, who could have thought? I would have never imagined something like this. Not the Kremlin, not my favorite people in the world. The Kremlin has long attempted to weaken cohesion between the United States, Europe, and Ukraine as part of a wider campaign to deter further Western support to Ukraine and distract from Russia's. Again, nothing really new, and this is what they're already doing, very actively so. And we have already seen all of these instances, right? We have just discussed a couple of them. Of course, it's going to be used as a tool of division. Anything they can use as tools of division will be used as tools of division, and you have to be on the lookout for all of this rhetoric, for the divisive rhetoric, the rhetoric that tries to, for instance, I don't know, pretend like the Europeans don't matter, strip them of their agency when they very much do. I see reports that they're thinking of a West Bank style resolution. Now that, I don't think that would be possible. I'm not entirely sure how this would work. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did, honestly, because something as disastrous as that, yeah, this sounds about right. Sounds like something they could technically do. But no, there is no way something like this could potentially work. Let's be very, very real with ourselves. Wait, there was something else I wanted to mention. Anyway, I think we have to talk. I think we have to get to the very unfortunate advancement that we have seen in the east of Ukraine. I'm just gonna put the map up for a sec before. Well, I'm catching up on the chat. Give us an update, says BB. BB, that's what I'm trying to do. Russia surrendered yet? No. As you can see, Teshuka, they haven't. Maybe we haven't noticed. How did Ukrainians feel about the Budapest Memorandum when it was signed in 1994? Was there support for this, or were people against it? Now, this is unfortunately something that I have no way of knowing, because it was not only because I wasn't born then, but also because it wasn't measured. There were no polling that would try to measure the public opinion on the matter. So it's hard to say. From what I know, the majority of the people were not even aware that that it was happening. So unfortunately, well, at least this is from my anecdotal experience, just from talking to people and reading the sources on the matter. So unfortunately, no actual polling was done, so it's really hard to say. BRICS needs a currency first. The fist fighting that they would do over that, imagine. No, that would be very entertaining though to see. Yes, thank you for liking the live stream, and thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. Tammy says, I'm an Alaskan and we will be protesting. We stand with Ukraine. Thank you. It's very much appreciated. It's a good thing. I love when people are protesting against the government. What will happen Friday in Alaska? Can Zelensky have it? I don't know. Can Zelensky have any hope? That's a very good question. I don't really care about him. I mostly care about what's what's going to happen to all of us. But yeah, this is what we have been just talking about, right? All of the possible scenarios. So either nothing happens, or they schedule another meeting and nothing happens, or they probably agree on some sort of freezing of the war. Hi, good to see you. Good to see you, Jason. Thank you. Yes, we did have a pretty good celebration. August 9th was my mom's birthday, so those of you who remember. And yeah, it was nice. It was nice. It was decent. It was nothing like the way we used to celebrate back home in Crimea, but it was still okay. We did our little barbecue. The dogs were all on their best behaviors. So was my dad. Putin will be late and there will be, oh yeah, right. Could be that. And the word salad and then nothing, right? So many possibilities. Thank you. Yeah, I'm still with the Dragon Cup. I'm still not over the Dragon Cup. We're still doing this. I know. That's a very good... hi, Mew. Good to see you. That's a very good question, right? What could actually come out of the meeting about Ukraine without Ukraine? We'll see. I mean, in theory, in terms of putting the pressure on Russia, a lot of things could have come out, but yeah, I don't think at this point in time anyone is hoping for that. Just looking at Trump's track record on that, I don't think there is much hope. I don't think there's much hope for that. Let's see. I have some links in my link tree. There is one for the World Central Kitchen. They're trying to feed them, trying to help the situation there. So you can use that. This is, I think, the only international organization, I've already told you guys that, I have been endorsing, just because we have seen them working on the ground here and actually making a difference. And they're everywhere. They're pretty much everywhere where people need to be fed. They are there. So they're also in Gaza, and they're also been distributing some hot meals over there. So if you would like to support, you can always do that, because people need to be fed everywhere. I just joined, sorry, why is there a spike on the map? Okay, Russian advance, everybody. Let's get down to business. So, some of you might remember from the beginning of this live, and from everything that I have told you before, that we have had a very, very complicated situation in the eastern parts of our country for a while. So this is Pokrovsk. What we're looking now is Pokrovsk. Those of you who want to see the map and you want to see the advancement and you want to discuss the advancement with us, please go to YouTube. The YouTube link is also in my link tree in my bio. Anyway, so you see right here, we're looking at Pokrovsk right now. We have been discussing Pokrovsk for a very long time. Last time we have been watching some footage from Pokrovsk, the city that has been practically obliterated by the Russian army. But last time we were looking at the map was looking something like this, right? There were some Russian advancements, there were some arrows moving in different directions, but we haven't seen anything like that. What is this? What is going on? So yeah, there was a breakthrough. There was a Russian breakthrough. It was reported publicly, I think Serhiy Sternenko, this is a very famous Ukrainian activist and volunteer, I think he was among the first people to break the news to the larger audiences. So he has said the enemy has broken through the front line by 10 kilometers near Dobropille. This is Dobropille, right, the one that I'm showing you. The Dobropille-Kramatorsk highway is cut off and under Russian control in the area of the settlement of Novovodiane. The situation is critical, and after this he announces the fundraiser for the FPVs, because this is one of the main directions of his foundation and their fundraising for the FPVs. So another comment on the situation, the comment that I 100% agree on, came from Taras Chmut, the director of Come Back Alive Foundation, the one that also I've been endorsing for years at this point. The best foundation, the most transparent one, and the one that has been helping the Ukrainian armed forces since 2014. They're also linked in the bio, by the way, if you would like to donate. So he said, the situation unfolding in Donetsk is the result of action or inaction that was warned about, he means by him, in every interview over the past year and a half. At first, we collapsed at the platoon level, then at the company level, then it reached the battalions. When it gets to the brigades, the enemy will deploy their armored groups, which have been actively accumulating for about a year now, and break through to the rear into operational space. And the map will shift again, as it did in 2022, by tens, hundreds of square kilometers every day. Of course, you can say that I'm exaggerating or stirring things up, because this was a lot of criticism, especially from our government, towards the people who tried to point those issues out in the past. And that things aren't so bad, that we have drones, nearly 24 newly formed corps, and everything is under control. But we went through something similar from 2018 to 2022. We're going through something similar again in 2024. Ignoring problems doesn't lead to their resolution, but the worst thing is to ignore the real state of affairs. Support the defense forces everywhere and in every way you can. Which is, I don't even know what else to add, because this is exactly how things are. This has been the issue that has been ongoing for a very long time. That was even obvious to, civilians like myself, just to the people who are closely observing the situation unfolding, and people trying to keep an eye out on everything that's been going on. So it's clearly not a secret to anyone who is there, anyone who is in the top commandment, anyone who's supposed to be in charge of those things. So for now, they're trying to contain it, as always. So whenever we see a catastrophe like this happening at the front, usually what does the commandment do? They try to close these holes with usually whoever is available. The capable brigades are being sent to fix the situation. Right now, I think it's Azov that is doing this. So we will see. We will see what's going to happen. Hopefully it will be fine. But this is the result of the systemic issues that we have been discussing in the past, unfortunately. Good evening, Annette. Good evening to you too. Let me see what you guys are saying. Let's say that no one talking about reparations, that Russians should pay for everything. Right. Oh, no one is even mentioning that anymore. No one is even mentioning that. I know. Any updates from the Kadyrovs? Oh, yes. His son was dancing at a concert. Oh, wait, let me Google this so that I wouldn't forget to show you. Adam Kadyrov танцует. Maybe we will even find the footage. I completely forgot about this. Wait, is this... Okay, we will get to this. We will finish the song. We'll finish the topic of the front lines, and then we will get to Kadyrov dancing. Logistical issues. Yes, so logistical... yes and no. It's a range of issues, but mainly it's the fact that, well, as Taras Chmut just pointed out in the post that I read out to you, the main issue is people trying to cover up the truth on every level. This is something that has been pointed out repeatedly by many, that it's easier for commandment, for instance, to lie about certain things or to sugarcoat certain things than to admit that something bad happened at their, the positions, at the area of the front where they're supposed to be in charge. And this is very much the outdated, post-Soviet era mentality that we have discussed. This is the same, small Soviet army couldn't defeat big Soviet army type of thing that Zaluzhny was warning about. Trump is the strongest man in the world. Go to Alaska, they need you. I'm already swimming. I'm on my way. This is actually my body double. Right, I know. And because of that, because of all of these issues that I'm not going to go into in depth, because I have been talking about them for how long? I don't know. Those of you who are on Patreon know. Years, I think. By this point, it has been years. Because of all of that, we're now seeing these things just pop up here and there. Thankfully, again, this is not the collapse. This is not the collapse of the front. But that would be the next stage. This would be the next stage. Then we would see the enemy randomly advancing, not just, for 10 kilometers into the territory. It could be, as Taras Chmut pointed out, it could be hundreds. It could be even more. Something that we had seen in 2022, for instance. So for now, this is what the situation looks like. They have told us that it's 10 kilometers. Is it actually 10? I've also heard other numbers, 15, 16, 20. And I've also heard from the military, just talking, discussing the situation, that it was known by everyone, pretty much by everyone. It was known that the situation in this particular part is dire, that the situation is very complicated, and it was just a matter of time. So, oh boy, oh well. So yeah, this is one of the people made a joke about this. It's just a bunny. The official comment by the general staff. Very dark joke from one of the soldiers, but this also depicts very well, unfortunately, how this type of stuff tends to be communicated to the civilians, to our society. It's just everything's under control, everything's fine. You're not seeing anything. It's going to be fixed. It's going to be good. It's going to be great. Unfortunately, yeah, this has been another issue, the lack of communication. Also, another statement was from Bogdan Krotevich, who said, Mr. President, so he's addressing Zelensky, right? I sincerely don't know what exactly is being reported to you, but I'm informing you on the Pokrovsk-Konstantinivka line without exaggeration is complete chaos. And this chaos has been growing for a long time, worsening with each passing day. Again, something that I don't think is a secret to anyone who has been paying attention to the situation. Everybody. I know. Alright, let me see. Let's keep staring at the bunny while I try to keep up with the chat. For some reason, recently it's been tough for me. I think it's my allergy medication, honestly. I'm so slow because of it. They lie usually, it's the fear of punishment. Right? It's the typical situation in the army. Right? You don't want to be punished, right? You want to get promoted, you want to get rewards, you want to get a better position, whatever. You don't want to be punished for something, so it's better to lie. And this has been an issue with certain commanders, not with everyone. If that was an issue with everyone, I don't think we would be here anymore, so thank you, Moo. There shouldn't be any sugarcoat. I know. It's the Soviet mindset, 100%. It's something that General Zaluzhny talks about. His famous small Soviet army cannot win over a big Soviet army line. That's exactly that. So, yeah. We're now seeing the results of that logic, unfortunately. Wouldn't that be nice? I know. No, we cannot do this. Alright, everybody. If you do not have any questions regarding the situation, how about we watch son of Ramzan Kadyrov dance a bit? So what happened? What is going on? Kadyrov's son was dancing a lizginka at the... Oh my god, well, at the Philharmonia. A 17-year-old Adam Kadyrov was spotted dancing with a gun. With a gun on his belt. Okay, that's better, I guess. So you can see him. Obviously, he is wearing a little golden number, because of course there was a bunch of beautiful women in the background, because of course. And yeah, so this is the 17-year-old son of the head of Chechnya, Ramzan Kadyrov. And yeah, he was dancing a lezginka on the stage of the Shakhbulatov Chechen State Philharmonic, Philharmonic during a music competition. The video from the event was published by his father, Ramzan Kadyrov, and the footage shows how the minor heir of the head of the Russian region dances among girls in national costumes. He is wearing a black t-shirt which depicts the golden wolf and the golden letter D and K, probably Dustam Kadyrov. I'm not sure which one of them is Dustam, I'm sorry. Black pants and sneakers. There is a gun on the boy's belt. Presumably, this is due to the fact that he holds the position of head of security service of his father. Right, and of course the dad was also there, looking kind of sickly, not gonna lie. I don't think this is a secret to any one of you, any one of us by this point, that Kadyrov has been having some severe health issues. But he was there in the neon lights, clapping to his son on the little concert. Oh God. Also, yeah, but I think this is something that was already known, that Putin congratulated Adam Kadyrov on his marriage, whatever. But yeah, who cares about that? Do we have a video of him dancing in his ginga though? Why is it only... Where's the video? Okay, I think we have to open Kadyrov's Telegram channel, everybody. I'm very sorry for that. Okay, yeah, we have a video. Wonderful. This is Kadyrov's official Telegram channel. Wow, incredible special effects. Where is Adam and his lezginka? Come on. Lezginka is a traditional dance in the Caucasus, everybody. It's usually very beautiful. I don't think it's gonna be beautiful in this particular person's rendition. This is like a promo for some concert from Chechnya. Where is Adam? There he is. This is not lezginka. This is not how it's supposed to look. Yeah, but as you can see in Chechnya, they're living it up. They're having the time of their lives, everyone. Good for them, I guess. Yeah, so this was for Tim, asking for the updates on the Kadyrovs. Keeping up with the Kadyrovs, everybody. I know, Tim, you asked for it though, so... Hi, John. Hi, Annette. Did I say hi to Annette? Hello. How has this war affected your everyday life as of now? My own personal everyday life, I don't think the recent stage of the war has affected my personal life that much. I mean, the inflation has been awful, of course. And my mental health has declined rapidly, but most of the horrible things that could have happened to me already happened in 2014. So, because for us, the war started in 2014. So, the occupation and everything that followed it was back then. Thankfully, now that we have moved to the western regions, it has been better, but obviously I'm in a very privileged situation. A lot of the people in our country cannot say the same about them. Hello, Furman, good to see you. We were looking at the video of Adam Kadyrov dancing, so to those of you who are not on YouTube, you really should be. Where else will you see such incredible content? But yeah, by the way, by this point in time, I think we can say with like probably 90% certainty that we are looking at the next, at the heir apparent of Ramzan Kadyrov and perhaps the next head of Chechnya. Dancing an attempt at lezginka, which doesn't look like lezginka at all. Oh well. And the next thing that Kadyrov posted about was the fact that the Kiev regime, this is how they call us, this is how they call Ukraine, attempted another attack on something, infrastructure, whatever. This is what they usually say. They're usually calling this either object, yeah, here he says objects, or they're saying infrastructure, or they're saying terrorism, but yeah, the friendly drones came to Chechnya. which, yeah, this is an exchange that is ongoing and that keeps happening. Anyway, that was on the Kadyrovs, keeping up with Kadyrovs, everybody. Okay, we have an air raid alert in Chernihiv region. Also, we had, while we're on the topic, while I mentioned the terrorist attacks, among the recent strikes, the worst one the Russians did was in the city of Zaporizhia. To those of you who do not remember where the Zaporizhia is, let's go back from Donbass, right? So this is it's one of the oblasts that is partially occupied by the Russians, and it's the frontline region of Ukraine, and it's the one that they have also written into their constitution as the part of Russia, because sure. Anyway, so a couple of days ago there was a strike on the bus station in Zaporizhia. As you can see, this is the main bus station. It left 20 people injured. You can see the building was very severely damaged, and yeah, this is a war crime, by the way. But of course, I don't think we need to specify this by this point. But yeah, this is civilian infrastructure, and yeah, you can see people getting evacuated from the building, and yeah, those were it was the aerial guided bombs. It was the aerial guided bombs that they used to strike. It's just a bus station. You can even see, you can see how it looks like. Just a normal, regular bus station. Nothing crazy. No NATO special secret biolab named after George Soros or. Anyway, the Kiev regime. Yep, that's us, the evil regime. Thank you, Jules. That's very sweet of you. Good to see you. Yeah, we're still here. We're still streaming. I'm trying to go live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I'm also showing stuff on YouTube, so you could follow me. Thank you. You could follow me on YouTube as well. It's all linked in bio, as always. And while we're on the topic of the war crimes, let's just get it over with. There was another strike on Kherson. We have discussed the human safaris in Kherson in great detail, by the way. This particular journalist right here, Zarina Zabrisky, she is an American working in Kherson. If you are still on the godforsaken hellscape, which is x.com, I recommend you follow her. She's very good at bringing you up to speed on the just continuous awfulness that's happening in Kherson, and she was one of the first people to get international attention to these ongoing human safaris, right, where the Russians strike civilians in Kherson from FPV drones just randomly. So this particular one, it has to do with Russian drone attacking and injuring firefighters extinguishing a fire caused by an artillery strike. So this is, I think this could classify as double tapping, when first they hit the area with something, and then they wait, the rescuers arrive to the scene, and then they strike again. Only in this particular case, at first it was the artillery strike, and then after that it was the FPV drone strike. And this is the video that Russians shared themselves, by the way. None of these videos are any sort of hidden footage that you have to hack, the Russian Ministry of Defense to obtain. They're posting it all on their Telegram channels set to music, and yeah, as you can see, they're just literally showing themselves attacking these Ukrainian firefighters in the residential area. And yes, this is a war crime. Of course this is a war crime. By this point in time, no one cares that this is a war crime. But yeah, this is something that happens in Kherson daily. It's a daily occurrence in Kherson. Just the levels of awfulness tend to differ. For instance, I don't really know where do we classify this one, because if we compare it to, grandma getting hit in her backyard, or a toddler getting killed by a drone in his own home. On the scale of those things, perhaps attacking firefighters with FPV drones is not as bad, but in my book, it qualifies as disgusting still. I don't know. Maybe this is something that we should have gotten used to by this point in time. But yeah, this is just on the topic of Kherson. This is a daily occurrence. It hasn't changed. It continues. So, yeah. Viktor Orban, we're gonna get to you. We're gonna get to you, Viktor, in a second. Anyway. Are you in America? Eric is asking me. Imagine if I were in America. Oh my god. All the things I could do. I could get myself a Benson Boone, thank you Nick, crumble cookie. Yeah, I'm either in Hawaii currently, living my best life, or I'm in Volynska Oblast of Ukraine. I guess we'll never know which one which one of these is the correct answer. What else would I do in America? Can I move to where you live? Fee AI wants to know. Yeah, of course. Again, choose which one. It's either Hawaii or Volyn. I would have invited you to Crimea, but it's occupied. So no Crimea for you, Fee AI. Maybe, in our dreams. I keep getting all these videos on my For You page of people like, oh my god, finally that I'm in America, I can have this, and it's just a lot of really weird looking food covered in cheese, and but I'm so excited, so it must be really good food, I guess. It's a Raising Cane's. I don't know what that is. Okay, enjoy, Queen. Sometimes it shows me messages, sometimes it doesn't show me messages. What's up, TikTok? What's happening? I'm certain there's gonna be massive amounts of people in the turn. Yeah, based on that footage alone, there definitely will be. If you would be in America, you would be yelling at Trump to his face. I think they would send me to prison for something like that. Honestly, at the rate that everything is moving, and considering the direction in which everything is moving, I don't know. I would be scared. What if JD Vance bites me? Do you think the states are going to give... Thank you, Richard. Do you think the states are going to give Russia Alaska? Well, Trump already kind of misspoke about that, right? Because first he said that he was going to Russia. And everyone was like, wait, you're going to Russia? And then it turns out that he was going to Alaska. And Russians, of course, immediately started posting. All of their propaganda channels went on this tangent about how Alaska is actually rightfully theirs, because there is a Russian propaganda point. Of course there is, how Alaska is actually truly theirs and always has been, and it was this great mistake made by Catherine II. The same rhetoric they use about Crimea and Khrushchev, like, the great mistake made by Khrushchev, he gave Crimea to Ukraine. They do the same thing, the same little number, but with the United States and Alaska. They are saying, the great mistake that we have to fix. So yeah, there was a lot of that. And yeah, there was some confusion at first, but then everybody forgot. I am in a safe place. Don't worry. I'm in a safe place. I'm in Volynska Oblast. It's in the western parts of the country. It's very safe. We only had a couple missile strikes and only some drones occasionally. And mainly by mistake, I think. I hope so. So yeah, we've been very lucky. We've been blessed, I guess, in a weird sense. So a Benson Boone crumble cookie is your request when you go to Moonbeam ice cream, taking off the blue jeans. Yes, exactly that. No, honestly, I don't think this is something I could handle. I think one of those cookies has 700 calories in it. I will go into a sugar coma and die, so no. I think something else. What would be my request if I came to America? Why did I want to say a gun? No. I don't know, you guys. I'm not sure. I heard if JD Vance bites you. No! You get superpowers, but it only gives you the ability to see couches through... Yeah, it's either the couches through walls, or it gives you the eyes of the killer, or a killer eyeliner. Which I think, yeah, it could be nice. That could definitely be nice. Okay, the chicken fast food place. Now I know what the Raising Cane's are. I know, probably his. I should protect the couch. They wouldn't let me in though. If I had the JD Vance meme on me, You know, this is classified stuff. They're not supposed to. They're not supposed to let you in. How did you learn such good English? Well, it's a compulsory subject at schools in Ukraine. And also, I've been really dedicated. I've been really dedicated in my studies. Despite my teachers bullying me and telling me that I will never be able to become fluent in English. So, yeah. And I even used to be an English teacher in Japan. I know. Some lore that all of you know, but Eric is new, so I'm letting Eric know. Okay, everybody, while we're looking at this, there was recently a scandal involving our dearest, favorite Hungarian leader, Viktor Orban, who, as you might remember, is a huge fan of Trump, hates Ukraine, loves Russia, thinks Russia is incredible, is a very often parrot of the key Russian propaganda talking points, and is just overall a great nuisance. Also notoriously very corrupt, but fake news, of course, because we all know that corruption only exists in Ukraine and nowhere else in the world. But yeah, allegedly, Viktor Orban is also pretty corrupt. And there was a new drone footage, not that type of drone footage, just the regular drone footage, showing Viktor Orban's family's lavish 30 million euro dacha, so their estate. And yes, it's a former Habsburg estate, with zebras roaming nearby. People were already comparing to Mezhigirya, which is, it used to be the residence of our former Ukrainian president Yanukovych back in the day. But honestly, Mezhigirya has nothing on this. Look at that. Look at this. Look at this residence of Viktor.
A birtokon van ugyan veteményes, de mezőgazdasági termelésre egyelőre semmi más nem utal. Van viszont üvegház, díszkert, mélygarázs, víztározó medencék.
The pools, plural, obviously. Viktor means many pools. Zebras, the indigenous animal of Hungary. But interestingly enough, they do not live on his property. They live on the property that is located nearby. It's the land of Viktor Orban's childhood friend and Hungary's richest businessman, which I'm sure, yeah, he only got there thanks to his hard work and nothing else at all. So that happened. We were let in on some of the Viktor's lavish residential areas. And then immediately after that, Viktor went on a little PR stunt. He took a low coaster economy flight. Thank you, Josh. Thank you so much. He immediately, in order to do some damage control, he took a very cheap flight with a Hungarian low-coster company called Wizz Air. This is him and his wife, spotted on a budget flight after the uproar over his use of private jets and government planes, and also the mention conversation. So this is him cosplaying as one of us, cosplaying as a peasant, as a povo. But yeah, you can tell this is not someone who is used to flying economy. Just no, this is not the type of person who is used to it, no matter how hard he tries to pretend like he's sleeping. Anyway, so that's Viktor, our favorite little guy from Hungary, straight out of Hungary. Interestingly enough, recently he got endorsed by Trump because, of course, they're pretty close, or at least in Orban's head they are. And so this is Trump saying that he trusts Viktor Orban, who's a very smart man, and who told him that Ukraine cannot beat Russia, right? So we have a video of Trump, trigger warning Trump, everybody. Thank you, Dave. Let me do this a little louder. Okay.
From Hungary.
One
Question
second.
to a very, very smart man that some people like and some people don't like. Viktor Orban, right? From Hungary, the head of Hungary. And he's in that same area and knows the two countries very well. I said, this was before Biden.
Okay, no, we're not going to do that, sorry. I thought it was going to be shorter. It's talking about Biden. Anyway, that was the gist of it, right? So he said that Orban told him that Ukraine cannot beat Russia, right? However, weeks earlier, Orban told French TV that Russians were too weak and cannot even handle Ukraine. So which one is it, Viktor? Which one is it? What's the answer? The answer is whoever gives you more money for your zebras, right? This is, by the way, the interview where he said the opposite.
D'abord par les événements guerriers, si vous le voulez bien, les bombardements en Russie, en Ukraine. Y voyez-vous le risque d'une guerre générale en Europe?
Nem.
No.
Pourquoi?
Mert az oroszok ehhez gyengék.
They're too weak.
Ukrajnával sem bírnak el.
Igen, handle Ukraine.
NATO területet képtelenek lennének megtámadni.
So first he says one thing, then he receives a phone call, I guess, allegedly. And then he says another thing. Yeah, that's just some of Trump's friends in the European Union. We occasionally get some Hungarian subscribers who hate him with the passion of a million suns. So shout out to you guys. Hopefully you're gonna elect someone better very soon. Because oh my god, the potential that Hungary had, the potential, everybody. It should have been. Everybody thought that the economic miracle that we have seen in Poland, everybody believed years ago that it would be Hungary and not Poland. But thanks to Viktor, that didn't happen. Thank God you aren't a couch. Yeah, I thank God for that every single day of my life. Popeye's chicken is delicious. I even saw that place. They have Popeye's in Poland, actually. And I was looking at it last time I was in Poland. I was like, should I try? Should I be crazy? No, I didn't. I think I had a salad instead, but maybe next time I will. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, thank you, Britnick. And thank you, Josh. You guys are very sweet. Thank you. You're too kind to me. I don't deserve it. Okay, so we looked at Viktor a little bit. Do Ukrainians have some regrets? All the regrets that we have about getting into this war. But though, Eric, we have to be clear about one thing. We didn't really get into this war, right? We were forced into this war. We were forced into this war by a superior enemy who's much stronger, who's a nuclear country, who used to be our imperial overlord, and who has been spoiling our lives and our blood for the last, I don't know how many years, for a very long time. And this war started in 2014. This is something that is also very important to keep in mind. And they were the ones who started it. So, thank you, Tommy. That's very nice. I don't think this is something you can really, do the people who picked up the arms and went to fight and defend their homes, do they regret it? I don't think they do. By this point in time, of course, there are all of these issues that started to arise. There are all of these inner domestic politics, the government, the lack of the reform, all of that. But ultimately, the key motivator at the very beginning for all of these men and women was they didn't want to see their homes occupied by the Russians, right? They didn't want to see their families in the Russian occupation. They didn't want to see their children tortured. They didn't want to see their family members. So it was that logic. So it wasn't like you really have a choice when you're faced with something, with the possibility of this. So it's a very different. Oh, thank you, Ken. That's a corgi. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. It's just a very different mentality, I guess. Very different reality. It's not something that you just sort of choose. Hey, let's get into a war, right? This wasn't something that we chose. This is something that our neighbor chose for us. They were like, one day they woke up and they're like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's have a war. But that was on them. Okay, we do not have a lot of air raid alerts going on, everybody. We have in Sumska Oblast and we have in Chernigivska, which is good. By this point in time, I think it's good enough. We'll take that. But also, ideally, let's please keep in mind that the Russians could leave. Right? They could leave. They could just go home to Novosibirsk, to Khabarovsk, to Chelyabinsk. They have so much territory. I don't know, Eric, if you are on YouTube. To those of you who are, this is just the European part of their country. Look how many places. There's Tambov, there's Ryazan, there's Mordovia, Mariel, Chuvashia, Tatarstan. Just please, right? You can just piss off. No, they don't want to piss off. I don't know. And somehow it's our fault. I don't know. Is it more complicated than it is often being made out to be? I can tell you the reality that existed for many of us, the Russian-speaking Ukrainians, before 2014. We existed in the world where we were having a good relationship with those people, right? But at the same time, we were also very much Ukrainian, and we were trying to build our own life and our own identity, and we were trying to have the life that we believed we deserved. And then one day they were like, no. And they just started invading. That was back in 2014 though, right? This is how the situation was like back in 2014. Although in 2022 it was kind of similar too, but it was just the scale was very different. So for a lot of us, we weren't these like Russophobic monsters who hated Russia. Like, we were okay with them. We actually liked them. A lot of us really loved them, and many of us have families there. But yeah. Then it was just gradually destroyed and eroded and eradicated, and it was just a layer upon layer upon layer of pain. So, and depending on, the closer your connections were to them, the more painful it was for you. Okay. I had some other topics I wanted to cover. I forgot. I will remember though. I will keep up with the chat, and then thank you, Moo. And then I will remember, as I always do. I mean, was it completely necessary to be insistent in joining NATO? It wasn't really that popular before they attacked us. Does this answer your question? It became significantly more popular, and then it hit the popularity peak after the full-scale invasion, when the people saw firsthand what the Russians are doing, when we saw the torture chambers and the massacred men and women on the streets of their towns and villages, and when we have seen the children getting stolen, right? All of those things. Then the popularity skyrocketed ultimately. Before 2014, it wasn't really that popular. It was kind of an idea that existed. At the same time, however, please let's keep in mind that this is up to the country, right? Countries are supposed to be allowed to do what they want to do, what's best for their security, for their national interest. Thank you, Ken. I don't know why I'm trying, honestly. By this point in time, these people are not going to change their minds. I know this. And it's not like I even care. Honestly, the more I think about it, I don't really care what they think. Okay, you believe that it's NATO, it's the... No matter how many times have I told these stories, all over and over and over and over again, right? I used to tell these stories when we were worried about the tanks rolling in 2022. And, I don't know why. And you can ask other Ukrainians too. I'm sure they will give you. Yeah, that I already answered. Anyone could be better than Orban, like literally. Yeah, I think we can just pick like a random, just Hungarian, like a goth, someone, who's like 16 years old and posts excessively on TikTok, and they would do a better job than Orban. So yeah. It seems like once military started showing up at Crimea is when it became a problem. You mean the Russian military? Well, yeah, I would say so. Yeah, this is... I would agree with you on that. Okay. I mean, I think I'm being nice, right? So, thank you, Zoe, for clarification. I think I'm being relatively nice. Hi, Sammy. Good to see you. I think I've been on my good behavior. Now, sometimes I'm not this nice, but if you want to ask the questions today, I'm in a good mood. I will answer them, and I'm not going to be mean. Yeah, it pretty much started. So, the occupation of Crimea, it was actually more similar to, what you could call special military operation, because there was a lot of undercover preparations for that. And then there were the troops actively entering, and then they threw this, fake referendum to convince the global community that everything is super legit. But that was the beginning. That was the beginning of the armed aggression, and then they sent the troops into Donbass, into the eastern regions of Ukraine. I don't know if you are on YouTube, but yeah, it's these two. It's Luhansk and Donetsk, and this is where the actual war broke out because of that. But the Russians attempted to play it out as, actually, we didn't send any troops. It's just these random Ukrainian separatists who want to be independent all of a sudden. It's them, we're not there. Where did they get the tanks from, though, Vladimir? A person with a functioning brain would ask. Where did they get all of the ammunition from? Where did they get, because there was all of this. There was the actual presence of the Russian military and FSB, and it was all very coordinated, and it was just a deliberate attack. And this is how it all began, pretty much. For us, it began in Crimea. For someone, it began in Donbass. For some people, it began in 2022, when the first Russian missiles landed near their homes, and they were like, what is happening? But yeah, everyone ended up being affected in one way or another. Okay, we had a statement from Ursula, how together with the Trump and Zelensky and other European leaders, they have had a very good call. This is regarding the call, I forgot to mention that. So yeah, they have exchanged information. Okay. And nobody wants peace more than us. Okay. Bunch of nothing. Okay, I'm just gonna open this devastating picture for now. Привіт! Сьогодні я поясню людям з Тамблеру різницю між нацистами і націоналістами. О Боже, я навіть не уявляю. Ви просто героїня. Ще й на Тамблері. Я би не змогла, в мене б, я не знаю, не вистачило. Увірвався б терпець, мабуть. Він вже мав, я вже дуже близько до того, що просто але я тримаюсь. When some say Russia was provoked, is there any truth in that? I do not think so, no. I do not think there was any truth in that. I think it was always their intention. It was always their intention to invade, and they've just been very successful in masking it and lying to us. So this entire, thank you Magnus, the entire idea that, a nation could be provoked in doing something like this, it's just a flawed argument from the very beginning, because it means that certain nations have agency and certain countries do not, right? If another country, right, exactly. Right. So this is why I think it's flawed from the very beginning. I believe fundamentally that every single country has a right for self-determination, and that every single country has a right to pursue whatever it believes to be its best interests. And I also believe in soft power. And in Russia's case, they had this great soft power in Ukraine. They had this great influence in Ukraine. They had every tool at their disposal to influence the situation from within as much as they wanted to. But they chose the armed aggression, which is, I don't think it should ever be. It's not even the last resort. It shouldn't be a resort. It shouldn't be any resort whatsoever. All right. Eric, do you follow Fox News? Oh no. Here I am trying my best. Hi, hello. When we were leaving Crimea, did the Russians just let you leave, or did you have to sneak out? No, so it was actually very interesting, because for a while it was just like a normal border, although it was the gray area. Let me show you guys on the map. So here, as you can see, right, this is Crimea, what we're looking at right now. You see there are some land connections, right? So like right here and also right here. After the annexation, this part right here became sort of like a border. an unofficial, unrecognized border, but a functioning one where we could cross in and out of the occupied Crimea. So this was one of the checkpoints. It was in Armyansk, but the one that I would usually take, where is it? It was called Chunhar. It's right here. Yep, that's Chunhar right here. And ironically, this was the first image of the 2022 invasion that I have seen online. I saw the image of the Russians breaking through Chunhar, and it still haunts me, this particular picture. Anyway, because I've been there several times. So you would just arrive to Chunhar, and there would be first like a Russian control, and then there would be, you would cross to the Ukrainian side. So from Chunhar to it wasn't direct, like straight into Ukrainian territory. There was this road, you can see this part right here, where you had to walk in between these salty lakes in the steppe. There was also like a little bus, but you could walk. You could either take the little bus or you could walk. And then you would cross onto the Ukrainian side. So it was relatively okay-ish, but there were issues. You could be questioned at any border. You could be detained. The Russians in particular, they always had problems with Crimean Tatars, who are still, that's chewy everybody, the native people of Crimea, and who the Russians have been persecuting pretty relentlessly ever since the occupation. So if you had the Tatar sounding name, or if you looked a certain way, so it was some racial profiling, you would be, chances of you getting detained and questioned were higher. But for me as a white woman, it was fine. It was fine. So yeah, I crossed this one several times back when we were, just going back and forth. And and then you would just go into this little Ukrainian, back then it was Ukrainian, now it's already occupied, town called Novoaleksiyivka. And from Novoaleksiyivka you could just take a bus or a train. I would just take a train to Volyn. And yeah, this is how you did it. This is how you did it. Last time I did it was in 2019. Then we couldn't do it because of COVID, and now it's closed forever, pretty much. So yeah, that was how that worked. It was, it was unpleasant. It wasn't great. It was clearly illegal because this is an unrecognized border and you're in this gray area where you have a very clear understanding that your human rights don't really matter here and anything can happen. But yeah, you have to, if you have to travel, you have to travel. If you have to go back, if you have to visit someone. The thing that I worried most about and still do is the graves, because we have all of these unattended graves of our family members left home. So yeah, oh well. Anyway, that's regarding Crimea. Okay, we're still talking about the Fox News and this type of stuff. Okay. I'm glad I could help. Hopefully I could. But yeah, I think by this point in time I have answered most of the questions you could possibly have, Eric. So I don't think there's anything else I can add. It isn't possible to be provoked into expanding a country's border through force. Right, in the normal world. In a normal world. Alright. I feel like I still had some topics I wanted to cover. Also, okay, that's the Zaporizhia situation, Azerbaijan we talked about last time. Anyway, let me know if there's anything you want to... we had another oil depot, Russian oil depot burning in Saratov, oil refinery, sorry. In Saratov, which is the place that I know very well, been there a lot. So yeah, there was some fires in Saratov from the friendly drones stepping by, which we've already discussed that this is the actual... oh, thank you, Josh. I see the future now. This is the actual negotiations, right? Not the stuff that the politicians are doing in their dusty chairs or not doing or whatever. This is the actual negotiations, unfortunately, when there's an active war. This is the situation on the ground, and and communication with Putin. It's the communication, this the direct line to his wallet, everybody. And this is the oil refineries are their money. So whenever something like this happens, they tend to listen. No worries. I'm glad to explain. I understand it's a bit confusing, the situation regarding the. Thank you, Nick. Regarding all of this, occupation differs, right? There are different levels of occupation, different types of occupation, as we have recently learned. And we have recently learned that the one that we had wasn't even that bad compared to the type of occupation that is happening, for instance, in the recently occupied territories. So the first major FSB torture chamber that opened in Crimea only opened after 2022, and they started mainly sending in people from the freshly occupied territories to that FSB basement in Simferopol. So we had a very different situation. Okay, so that was the oil refinery. And by the way, everybody, last time we were talking about the pies, right? The Karaite pies. So Karaite people are one of the 3 native peoples of Crimea, and we were talking about chubureki, the Crimean Tatar food, right? And also I mentioned the pie, and I forgot to say that they're also very popular in Lithuania apparently, and they even have their own fast food chain of those pies in. In Lithuania, and this is what they look like, right? They're calling them. They're called binai, okay, they were brought to Lithuania by one of their great princes from Crimea, and ever since then they were very popular, which is this is such a cool fact. And I also immediately remembered that I saw them. I even saw them in Lidl in Vilnius, these pies, and I even tried them. They tasted a bit different from the ones that we used to try in Crimea. But yeah, this is what this pie looks like. So, oh, thank you so much. Thank you for the subscription. Wait, was it Hindi? I didn't see your name. Thank you so much for the subscription. Yay. Wait, what is happening? It said something on the... Oh, TikTok does its thing. Thank you. Thank you for the support, everybody. Appreciate all the support in the gifts, the subscription, and the tapping, and you just simply being here and watching. It's all greatly, greatly appreciated. So yeah, the pies. This is what they look like. Wait, that's Trakai in Lithuania, which is very beautiful, but I'm not sure what this has to do with the pies. So yeah, just a fun fact, the Karaite pies are also very popular in Lithuania. Something fun. Thank you, dear. Yeah, appreciate it. Does she have any friends from Russia? Eric wants to know. Yeah, I used to have many friends, actually. Any long-range weapons launched by Ukraine yet? Towards where? Recently, it's been mostly drones. So the official line is that we're out of the... Well, our stocks are depleted, right? Whatever we had is either being saved up or we do not have enough to conduct any sort of attack, at least for now, in the meantime. Hard to say, This is the type of information that is usually hidden, and rightfully so. It shouldn't be available to the public. Okay, let's look at the air raid alert map in the meantime. Боже. Сватове, о, мені дуже шкода. Дуже шкода, що так вийшло. Так, це все. Коли це трапляється в окупації, це наче в якомусь, я не знаю, паралельному житті. Зараз в нас така сама ситуація. Тобто раніше це було трохи інше до 22-го року, але зараз так, це просто неможливо. Тобто все, якщо воно там трапилося, це наче десь, я не знаю, в іншому всесвіті. Дуже-дуже вам співчуваю. Не знаю, що ще додати. Тут навіть нічого додати нема. Просто якийсь жах. Did you do a video on the UK drone attack on Russian planes 1,000 miles inside Russia? You mean the spiderweb operation? Yeah. Oh, we used to talk about that a lot. We used to talk about that when it happened. Can we block Eric now? Yeah, I think I think it's enough. I think we've heard enough from Eric, everybody. Okay, have I missed any questions? He's gone. Okay, thank you, Zoe. Perfect. Flawless victory. Yeah, isn't Transnistria part of Russia? Ukraine could take it and give it to Moldova. Wouldn't that be incredible if we could just do this? Well, first and foremost, Transnistria is the internationally unrecognized occupied territory, Russia-occupied territory of Moldova that claims to be its own thing. It's not. So that's one thing. Second of all, this is Moldovan business, right? This is their territory. And although we do border Transnistria, and of course it does line up, with the rest of the issues that we're having with all of these Russian enclaves and the Russian influence and Russian military presence, it's not particularly our problem, especially right now, that it's not presenting any active threat to us. And also, I think, just look at the situation that we have at hand. We already have our hands tied pretty much with everything happening. But also by the same logic, if you apply the same logic, it's also like, Ukraine should also take out Lukashenko, something like this. Same reasoning applies to why not, and also imagine all of the yelling and screeching and crying and the escalation and no. It's good enough that, at least they're not attacking us from those sides. We were all worried back in 2022, and even now we're kind of still worried because there is this upcoming military training in Belarus. Everyone is really excited for this one. We used to be worried that they would attack us from those directions too. So it's not happening. Good. Just let's pretend. Let's ignore it and hope that it goes away. Thank you, Eminem. Hi, good to see you. Right, I know. If the Alaska meeting happens, do you think it's gonna end up the same way as their Helsinki meeting? Honestly, by this point, I think what's most likely going to happen if it does go down, it's just going to be useless. It's just going to be a bunch of nothing, because I'm suspicious that one of the main reasons why it's being done in the first place is to test the reaction of China and to see what China is going to do and what their response is going to be. And for that, nothing needs to be signed. Right? They can just show up, they can hang out, they can, explore Alaska together, hopefully get eaten by a bear or something. I know, we're not going to be that lucky. And then it's just going to be, okay, we talked, there's going to be another meeting in Poughkeepsie, in September. I don't expect anything. I just expect a whole bunch of nothing. It would be wonderful if they could achieve something meaningful. But I do not think they can. And I don't even think that's honestly the goal at all. I think the goal for both sides to see, what they can get. For Trump is to see what China is going to do and to use this as a tool of leverage against China. And for Putin is to see what he can get out of this, Even now he's in the winning situation in a sense that the longer the situation drags, the more time he has before the next round of sanctions is applied, right? If they're applied, ever. Thank you, Tezai. Good to see you. So, yeah. Oh, hi, Jabari. Good to see you, too. Oh, but it's so late where you are. Oh, my God. Oh. Does Ukraine still have Taurus missiles? I think we do. Wait, do we? I'm not entirely sure. The entire conversation with the tower, with all kinds of long-range missiles, especially as of recently, the last time we've ever heard of them, it was this ongoing back and forth with just every single player attempting to muddy the waters. That's just, you would hear the statement, oh, actually, we're getting these missiles. And then immediately we would backtrack and someone would say, no missiles, no towers, nothing, no, it's not happening. And then again it would be contradicted by the next statement. So I would like to read it, the optimistic side of me would like to read it that perhaps yes, perhaps something was happening, but they were just trying to hide it. But also, knowing how these things tend to go, I don't think this optimism of mine is justified. Whenever the best confirmation for anything to be present, for anything entering the game, is seeing it in action, right? So for now, the only thing that we're seeing is the drones. So I just like to, pretend like, okay, it's just the drones for now, because this is what we're seeing. This is what we're seeing being applied. This is what we're seeing attacking all of these refineries and military objects. So. We're not nice here in this chat. Thank you. We're evil people. Very angry. I won't put it past Trump to give Alaska to Russia. No, come on. No, let's not. Please, let's not go there. Maybe the bear will get them first before he manages to do this. Yeah, right, the last one, exactly, Sammy points out, the last one was that no towers will be sent at all. But there was so many, just all of the mixed signaling was so tiring. But at the same time, remember how we talked about them agreeing, apparently, the European partners agreeing at least, on not being as, explicitly, painfully clear about every single little detail of the military aid they're sending to Ukraine? Yeah, because before that they were. There were literal lists of things being posted. Oh, we're sending this and this and this and this and that. Then, a couple of months ago, they were like, maybe we should stop it. I guess it's helping the enemy in some way. Who could have thought? Well, better late than never, I guess. Thank you, dear. Some people are actually very irritated by my laughter. I've had someone being very angered at me recently in the comment section. The laughter. Why are you laughing? Do you want me to cry, Brian? Because I'm not gonna cry anymore. At least for now, not today. China is supplying Russia drones. Okay, so with Chinese support, there are layers, and a lot of it is hidden. But we went all the way up to spotting the China-manufactured ammo on the battlefield, but it was immediately dismissed. Everyone was like, "Oh, that was just a mistake. It was just an accident. They never did it. They never meant to do it. Whatever." Yeah, it's mainly the drones. But there's also, of course, the fact that they're buying so much from Russia. They're buying their energy. They're buying oil, and it's just. Also the fact that everything that's been happening kind of puts Russia in this vassal state position towards China, which is one of the very important pieces of the puzzle, because certain people in the Trump administration believe that they can break China and Russia up by offering Russia stuff. And the question here is, what are they willing to offer China or Russia to do that? What are they willing to offer Russia to break off from China? Are they willing to offer all of Ukraine, parts of Ukraine, none of Ukraine? What is it going to be? So this is what we're currently seeing. This is ultimately the biggest question here, and whether or not they will be successful. It's also really hard to measure how deep the Chinese influence actually goes within the Kremlin right now, because they're being very sneaky about it. Like, they never really hid the fact, meaning China, they never hid the fact that they want this, that they want Russia as this vassal state. It was even, they talked about this in their speeches all the time, even before 2022. Like, oh, you have all this land, you have so much stuff going on for you, but you have no idea what to do with all that, and we do. So So yeah, I guess it was just a matter of time. Yeah, I'm here usually Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we're also live on YouTube if you would like to see the stuff. Although for now, I think I don't know. I still had some stuff to show you guys, but we'll see. We'll see how much stuff I will be showing you. And also with the drones, one more thing about the Chinese drones, we're also buying drones from them because they're manufacturing so many of those cheap FPV. When we're talking about FPVs in particular, right? There are different types of drones. There are drones that are the size of a human. There are drones that are bigger. But when we talk about the particular FPV drones, like the Mavics and the likes of them, yep, they're selling them to Russia. They're selling them to us. And they're selling them everywhere they can. So they're manufacturing so many. They're pretty much sustaining both sides with those drones, which is crazy if you really think about it. But then again, so is everything that's been happening. It's absurd that Trump will give Putin his 5 minutes of fame spotlight. Well, Zelensky is not there. I think there are many absurd things about all of this. I also think it's some sort of... What was that? Was this a moth? Oh. There's a part of it that is almost like a humiliation ritual, not just for... not for Ukraine, but for the United States. What do you mean you're inviting this criminal, right, who has the ICC order for his arrest, a warrant for his arrest? This is the guy that was charged with mass kidnapping of children, and you're just having him over for dinner, and they're also probably going to do little jokey jokes and hang out and wrestle a bear or something. I really wish there was going to be some bear wrestling, and I'm obviously on the side of the bear, so it's just, of course there's an extra layer of icky to all of this, but what you gonna do, huh? I know, right? And the history, the fact that the Russians believe Alaska is there, a lot of layers to that, you guys. What's the current situation with the support from North Korea? They're supposed to show up in Kursk sometime soon. They're not going to announce them officially while these talks are ongoing, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were already there. There were no official statements, but the deadline was September, I think, for them to arrive to Kursk to help the Russians hold the lines there. Oh yeah, they do. Oh yes, they do. Didn't the EU also already say that Europe will not accept any deal that is done without Ukraine? Right, but they also said that we also have to be very careful with everything and that we're hoping for a lasting peace. There is a lot of very mixed signaling, a lot of confusing messages. So, yeah, I mean, it would make sense that they wouldn't... If something insane were to be signed, like if Trump recognized all of Ukraine as Russian or something, that the Europeans would be like, I don't know about that. But also, ideally, this would be the perfect time for Europe to step up, right? This would be the perfect opportunity for Europe to step up their game. But this is what we have been saying for the last several months. Ever since, Trump and Vance started backing out of, supporting Ukraine, ever since the shipments of weapons started to stop and then resume, and all of this funky nonsense started happening around that. We're like, it's time for Europe to stand up. It's time for Europe to step up. It's time for... Remember, right? We've been through this already, so... All right, everybody. Wait. Plot twist. Trump detains Putin for being a criminal. And, imagine that. For having J.D. Vance memes on his phone. Vladimir, what is this? Well, why do you have the bold J.D. Vance on your phone? No. Right, ideally they should, but no, I'm afraid. I know, we can always dream, everybody. Alaska will be protesting. Good. I've seen the protest footage from across the US, which has been censored, by the way, but it was good seeing it. Anyway, I think it even made me happier, the fact that it still made it through the clear suppression and censorship that is now being done by TikTok, the best asset of the Chinese Communist Party. that is clearly currently working for someone else. Anyway, so yeah, that's good. But okay, I think on this wonderful... Oh wait, we have one more comment. Okay, Trakai has the biggest Carrot community in Lithuania with best Kibinai. Okay, I'm going. Next, okay, Milda, I'm going, 100%. This is it. This is how you get me. This is how you lure me into a place. Next time I'm in Lithuania, which I think I'm gonna go in autumn. Yeah. I'm going on a trip and I'm gonna film a video and take you guys with me probably, because why not? Alright, everyone, on this wonderful note, with the kibinai, with the beautiful pastries and everything, I will be wrapping this one up. Yeah, in a perfect world, Nick, I know. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching. Today was a little bit more chill, but we did talk about some interesting things. Viktor Orban, the front lines, the shellings, the Trump and Putin, hopefully getting eaten by a bear. Oh, this is a gigantic potato. Thank you, Chelsea. Yep, this is what I've been feeling like these past couple days, so this was perfect. Alright, everybody. Thank you, as always. I will catch you hopefully on Friday, okay? I will let you know another potato, French potato. Thank you, George. I will let you know, as always, on my Instagram story, right? And also, please go follow me on YouTube if you haven't already. Hit the bell, hit the buttons. YouTube is much more likely to send you the notifications, apparently. So, yeah, we will be chilling and discussing the war on Friday. Take care, everybody. Mwah, mwah. I will see you all next time. Okay? Okay. Mwah. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Okay, and YouTube people, thank you so much. Oh, hi, Vindictus. I only now seeing you guys. And hi, Carolyn. And bye. Thank you so much for watching, as always. I will catch you on Friday, okay? Hopefully everything will be fine, and we will not have any blackouts. So, mwah, take care, and have a wonderful evening, or whatever time of day it is where you guys are. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody.